Alrighty. Good morning, good afternoon, and evening. That's it. I knew there was the third one there. Doc here from North America. Let's get some visual up there. There's J4X. You can see Swiss is moving up. Where's Chicago? There's Chicago Quant. Obviously, Swiss is moving up. And I see the fact check spreadsheet right there. And away we go. All right, what do we got going on here this morning? Obviously, the dollar is firmer. Mr. Unreal. Oh, I like that. Mr. Unreal. I like that. Yeah, I know. Life right now looks a little unreal. I mean, in the financial world, we are in the era of QE. Just like I was describing, I guess at the beginning of the week, I was saying something, or was it last week I was saying it? Might have been last week I started off saying that you have BCE, before the Christian era, and then you have AD after the death, or Christian era, or the one you take your choice, and now we have the QE, which is the quantitative era, or quantitative easing, basically, and with it comes the change in finance. We've never seen finance like this in 5,000 years of recorded buy and sell type of ideas and so forth. Basically, we're in a whole new era run by the governments, and paper has value. So I like that. Good morning, good afternoon. I guess it's, let's see, what time is it now? It's 8:32 a.m. on Eastern Standard. So, Miporuski? No. But I'm trying to figure out what time zone you might be in. Who knows? They got like 13 of them over there, right? So, obviously it could be evening. Could be an evening for Mr. Unreal. I like that. But that's what the markets are. They're unreal. That's for sure. Okay. As we always start off, we start looking at the Swiss, and you can see the strength in there, which means obviously the dollar is strong. And that has been the recipe. And there is a big question mark in the States here. They're really, people are a little confounded by why is the dollar so firm, and they look for it to fall down just as much as anybody else does around here. It's a very firm product. They're actually trying to make decisions on inflation, saying inflation's going to be a little tough to be identified if the dollar is going to stay this strong. And obviously, since the central banks are the ones that are controlling all this stuff, and I guess it's that Arca, whatever it was, it was doing these incredibly odd leveraged. They're not. Let me get rid of incredibly. They weren't incredible. Individual banks were creating products because we're still in an era of swaps, which is kind of odd. I don't understand why swaps and so forth are really legal. You would think that there would have been a moratorium put on them, and so that they could expire. And you have listed options, and you have the options universe. And I don't understand why they need to do 7 and 8 times leverage. I guess I can tell you why. The politicians have borrowed money as far as you can see. Europe has 18 trillion, not billion or million, but trillion, parked in products that don't make any money anymore. In other words, the ECB won't give you interest when you buy a bond, all right, or you put money in your savings account. They don't give you interest anymore. You have to pay interest to just have your money parked there. So we are in the unreal universe. There's no doubt about it. It truly is unreal. So, in many ways. And when you have a media that is very supportive of government control, like we do here in the States, they love government control. And so you only hear one story. You don't hear anything else but that. And so, this morning I saw where they were wondering, what about Citadel? They supposedly have a 6.6 versus that fellow from Julian Roberts, Tigers, that sent the markets in a somewhat, or not the markets, but that particular, sent the banks into a point where they still don't know the amount of risk they've lost. Or let's put it this way. They keep on saying, well, I guess it was Morgan Stanley now says, well, I think we lost between $2.5 and $5 billion. 2.5 between and 5. What happened to lost $2.5 billion, maybe $2.7 billion? So they don't know if they lost 2.5 billion or they lost 5 billion. Wow. That's a gigantic wow. Okay. Now this is a currency webinar mainly, and we look at obviously the commodities with it like gold and oil and so forth. The energy complex, and so it's always a combination of all that. But what a wow that is! Can you imagine that the banks don't know exactly if they lost 2 billion or 4 billion or 5 billion? What was it? Between Goldman and Morgan Stanley, I think it was a loss between 12.5 and 15 billion. It's like $2.5 billion slippage, rounding number. Is that unreal or what? I mean, that is so, Mr. Unreal. You are right. You were right there with the rest of us, wondering what is real and what is not anymore. Back in the old days, we used to be able to say, you follow the money. In these times, the money is just created out of thin air. And so then it's parked and hidden. So there's not much of following the money, but we are following the indices. All right, let's drift over to, let's take a look at the euro this morning. All right, where's the euro? Right there. And you can see there the euro is very firm. Or maybe not. No, it's not firm. No, it's still drifting down. You can see the energy is kicking in and kicking up into it. I wonder if that means they're going to really accelerate this thing. That on the upside. They're going to try to bottom this thing out and get it to go. You can see the white and the dotted lines are trying to make a move here, and you can see the histogram on the MACD is still riding south, and it's in a minus. Now, when we go over to Chicago Quant, right there, and we can widen that out a little bit. There's that right there. You can see let's put the euro in there at the same time. Whoop. We'll find it there in a second. There we go. There's the euro there. You can see it is trying to lift up. The Hinky Ashki is hiding that for the moment. That's all. And so you can see they are trying to lift it up. You can see we are challenging, getting close to the zero line. Let's see, what is that? That is minus 0 ZZZ 35. So it's getting close. Getting close. And you can see, you can't even see the white line or the histogram moving up here on the weekly. Let's shrink that down a little bit. Let's see if we do, or lift this up like so. That does it? Yeah. And then we'll shrink this down. You'll be able to see how the weekly, see it's starting to flatten out. So it's just flattening out. No real sign of a weekly change. The product looks like, the euro is going to have this weakness for the moment, and we're just having a little, probably a dead cat bounce. Meow. In other words, the classic trading opinion of the dead cat bounce. They got to take a little profit somewhere along the line. So that's the name of the game there. Now let's drift over to cable. Cable is flirting. You can see here, it's through the zero line. This is still trying to turn up, but we're in a weekly sell. So just like it did here, a day or two of dead cat bounce. And what we're seeing here is probably, a little firmness in here for a day or two. And then obviously next week, if they can start to get this weekly back up into the buy, then we'll see some strength kick into the cable, and the cable will start to go towards my 140 that I always mumble about no matter what goes on. But it must get into the weekly buy, or at least stay in daily buys. One of the above, but it needs one or the other at this point. Because right now they just can't get it going. They just there's no energy for it. We couldn't even get into a daily buy here because we had 2 days of back-to-back red and greens. So with that, as much as the strength was trying to come in, it just gave you the warning. There was some firmness from the sell here, but nothing more than that. Wasn't giving you any confirmation that there would be some longevity to the bounce. Okay, now here's the surprise. I'm a little surprised we're seeing this weakness in here in the Turkish lira, or I guess it's a strength really. We were expecting to see it make it up to, on this move, up to the 885 area. And we see here that it's even fallen underneath. It had been above the weekly buy all week long, and then all of a sudden, kapooey, it had fallen back down. And so normally we would expect that it would get there. We'll see how this goes by the end of the day. See if they try to make another turn. Maybe there's more news. Who knows? Very volatile creature. Out of all the things I've seen over 40 years, we'll be surprised if this does not make it to this dotted line. It usually does. Matter of fact, I've never seen it not. So, we're going to keep an eye on that. It's trying to slide into the sell here. We'll see how that goes by the end of the day. All right. Let's drift over to, let's see, from Turkish lira, we slide to Canada. And you can see Canada just on the edge. I guess it made it into the sell there, but I think we listed it still in the buy there last night. So, what do we have here on fact check? I'm almost dead sure. Yeah, I kept it in the buy. But that last night when we took the numbers, it was still just above. But obviously, it has pushed itself into the sell there. So what we will do is we'll put the line there and change it on the fact check sheet right in front of you. No, not right there. Remove that. So we go right there. Let me just double check right there. And we're just going to take a quick look at it on the numbers itself. No, that's what it is. No, there it is. Yeah. So it is a minus 0 ZZZ14. So it is a minus. All right. And then let's fix that on the fact check spreadsheet. And go like that. And then go like that. There we are. And then go like that again. I thought it erased. Why didn't it erase? There we go. So it is in the sell. They are lifting it up. We're in a weekly sell now for weeks here, so it's not too damaging to have the number wrong. I guess in some ways you would have been short coming in. So yes, it could be a loser. Yes, it could. Yes, it could. Yes, it could. And so let's see what they're doing there today. We're back to the plus side just by the hair of its chinny chin. You see that the zero, you see how it's changing on the plot 1, 0.ZZZZ2, and it was just 1 a few ticks ago. And let's see what does it again, just for you to see it moving around that aggressively. Wow, there's a jump going into the 4. Interesting. So there's a loser. All right, let's keep an eye on that. Now let's go over to the loonie. We check out the New Zealand against the Canadian and see how that's going there. And that also looks like now I thought I had that right on the fact check spreadsheet. NASCAD, yeah, went into the sell there. There it is right there on line 23. You see it there. So that did go into the sell and sold down, and we're in a weekly sell. And now they're all both lifting up. So with that, we're assuming that we're seeing a sideways up moving oil. And what we will do is we will drift over to the energy complex and take a quick peek and see what that's doing. If we can figure out which button. There it is right there. No, that's not it. That's right there. There we are. And let's go to right there, crude oil. And crude oil closed in a sell last night, but you can see it's moving up. And it is flirting with the weekly. We've been in a weekly buy for a while here now. I guess we could slide over. Been in that weekly buy since, what is that, November 27th. That week over, not November or something, 25th. So they're holding on to the firmness in there. This is trying to lift up. You can see that. There is a plus on there today. But you can see the daily is flirting with the daily sell, and at the same time, we are. Let's see how close that is. Plot 1 is actually a -1. You can see that changing. Plot 1 there. See it minus 0.01. Now this is a super, so let's just double check which ones are lit. Okay, so this is just basically running on the plot 5. That's what that is. We're not using the super. So it's plot 4 and plot 1. And so what we see here is plot 4 is ZZZZ. You can see now plot 1 is ZZZ. They're both minuses. So they're just on the edge here on the closing of a week. So the two pairs trades are telling us that this should be a little sideways up. And then this is at the same time after, where is that? Line 5, 18 weeks in a weekly buy. 18 weeks in a weekly buy, and 5 days in a daily buy. And so this we should see how. Oh, look at that thing drifting and bouncing around. You can see that. Look at that. Now it's minus 29. Wasn't it just Z? Oh, that we were looking at the weekly, the ZZZ. Now it's plus 2, and this is dancing with the daily sell. You can see there minus 29, and I know minus 11. That's plot 4 we're watching, and plot 1. And the time manifolds are plot 2 and 3. You can see the way it's changing around in there. You know, the action is going on. And you can see how sensitive Doc's technical analysis is. All right, now let's drift over to natural gas, which has become a very fascinating thing. Normally it's a quiet creature, but now it's, look at that, it's just, now it's pushing into the sell, whereas this morning it was much higher. You can see it's minus Z.ZZ27. Not dancing. Oh, there's 23 now. And let's see how plot 1 and plot 4 are doing. And it's a minus 47 there. Minus 27, now minus 53, now minus 40. See how it's inching around. Doesn't take much to move Doc's math. We've been in that weekly sell for a few weeks here now, going on over a month. So the pressure is on this natural gas too. And then we take a look at the robo. Take a look at the fuel oil that they use to put into the automobiles. You see this is holding up. They are looking for an active driving season or vacation season here in the States. So we're seeing some buying in that. And you can see we're in a weekly buy for, we don't have that on the fact check, but we've been in a weekly buy since first week of December. So it's been in the buy for weeks upon weeks, and it looks like it's not going to change any this week, even with an odd shortened holiday week. And good Friday to you all. All right, now what we do is we drift back to the currencies, and we go and we jump off to the ruble and see what they're doing with that. You can see firmness here today. Again, Doc is always, the moment you get into a sell, I think it's going to go to 49. That's my mental attitude. But unfortunately, it was in a weekly buy, so I knew it was a short-lived weakness. And it's only been a couple weeks in a weekly buy, but surely does not look like it's going to change any direction here. You know, it's holding up very firm with the white line well above the time manifold, as you can see right there. And it's the plots 2 and 3. No, so there's no real sign of weakness. And you can see we're going back up again. Let's see. So I guess we'll see that march that way. Then the yen doing the same thing, holding on weeks upon weeks. You can see how high the white line is to a point where it's off the screen. Let's contract that a little bit like that. You can see that there. Not going after the time manifold at all. You can see the dailies holding on very firm. So the buying is still going on there in its own way over in the yen against the dollar. Then we drift over to the Mexican peso right there. And there's the sell. Let's widen that out a little bit like that. So, you know, it's still riding down on the sell. And the weekly is holding up. So it looks like we're going to settle at the lows of the week here in the Mexican peso. And let's see, what else can we say about this product in particular? Nice tight range. You know, it's doing like the Zolti, you know, nice tight range. Obviously, the currency is getting a lot more competitive and much more solid. Especially, you know, this year in particular, I've been kind of impressed with it. It went through the American election really well, because you would have thought it would have driven it totally crazy, because we are a big trade partner with them. What else can we look at here? Let's take a look at the, what else is there to be looked at? That usually is fascinating. I guess South African Rand we peek at. Why don't we do this? Let's go check out from there, just showing those currencies. We drift back to, we go to the metals complex, I guess. So we should take a look at the South African Rand. And, you know, since it is dominated to some extent by the gold market, being one of the largest producers in the world of it. Let's go back to that again, and there it is, the dollar Rand there. And you can see it's doing the same thing as the Mexican peso, showing a little nice strength right now, and sliding into the weekly sell here. That's interesting. We'll see. It looks like we're going to have ourselves a sell this week to join in. So that's usually a very positive thing because obviously it's against the dollar, and that means basically is that when it's going down, it's picking up in value. It's able to buy more dollars for less South African rands. Now we'll drift over to the metals complex from there. And you can see silver kind of trapped, hanging out. Let's give that a refresh. There we are. Do we have that right on the fact check? Yes, it's in a daily buy for one day and trying to hold up. It's a little weak here this morning. But we've been in a weekly sell on this product for a while now. So weeks upon weeks. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. Let's see who's doing the ding-a-ling-a-ling. Robin? What's cooking?
Yeah, please send me a July corn.
July corn? Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Can you hear me on the webinar clear enough?
No, I've been busy actually.
Good. Good. All right, July corn's coming. Let's see. Up. Let's see. Let's find July corn for Robin. July corn. All right, let's open that up. Go right to there. Go right to there. Open sesame. July corn. Yesterday, some agricultural numbers came out, and there was some explosive action and a lot of. Let's see, July corn. There's deck corn. July corn? I guess we have it down here somewhere, right? July corn. Okay, I don't know if we have one. Let's just double check. July corn. There's December corn. All right, so what we have to do is create one. So what we're going to do is activate. Look at that move from yesterday from the news. And that's live right there on May corn. So now what we'll do is we will copy that and then paste it. And let's go to that window. There we are. And let's activate it. And let's copy that. Copy. Okay. Now let's remove it. And then let's change the product. July corn. Add a symbol. Futures. And as that ZC, look up. July corn right there. There we are. Add. Close. And ZC again. There we are. And let's do the hidden one. That's the weekly. ZC. July corn right there again. And let's see how that looks. All right, now let's put that in there. Oh, do that one more time. Paste. And July corn. All right. And let's see what's going on here. You see that looks pretty good. That's matching up. Did that even make it in there on that one? Yeah, it did. No, it did not. Maybe not. See, plot 1, we're using a super. So let's just double check what that is. So the histogram is the 5. So it's a super. It's running on the super. So what we have here is that never happened. As you can see there, plot 6 is 1.5, but plot 1 is 0.05, so it's a plus. So we remove, let's just move that over for a moment. And we can remove that altogether. And then what we can do is that one starts up right there. Maybe, no, right there. There's your buy there. And that can be removed altogether. So it's been in a buy since here, but we are in a, that was a buy there. Let's check out the weekly. So the weekly went into a sell here maybe? Yeah. There is a sell. Because that is plot 1 and plot 4. So that went into a sell. Go like that. We'll fix that. Pink. And a solid line. See Doc putting something together there for Robin. And then we've been in a weekly buy all week long. Cool. All right, yeah. It's been strength in it, that's for sure. And then, let's see. Where did the sell? Let's contract that a little bit. Went into the sell here. And so where's the... That's interesting. Again, we'll move that over like that. And then... So did it go into a sell there? No, it did not. So it went into the buy here. And we can move that over also. Interesting. So it went into the buy there. No, it didn't go in. There's a sell. Remove that. So it went into the sell here. And then it went back into the buy there. And held on to the buy even with all that weakness. And wouldn't allow you to get short. And then, let's see. That's correct there. And then where is it at? There's, I guess the sell is right there. Interesting action. And where is the buy? The buy is right there. Interesting. And remove that. And remove that. There we are. What a fascinating looking thing there. Indeed. Interesting. Alrighty. Okay. So there is July corn. And let's send that over to Robin. What an interesting action. So it goes into the sell here. And then it goes back into the buy. Let me just double check this so that everybody sees it right for Robin, whoever he's showing it to. Then there's the buy there. And then it stays in that buy all the way out to there. Then goes into the sell. Oh, yeah, matter of fact, yeah, it goes into the sell there, and it goes back into the buy here. And then it doesn't get into a sell there, and it's still in a buy. Interesting action. Very interesting action. Wow, that was that long buy, you know. Was that a sell there? Minus and a plus. Is that right? No, wait a minute. No, okay, yeah, so cancel. So right there is minus and minus. Yep. So let's put that in there. So that goes into a minus there. And let's do this one too. Then it goes right back into the buy and then right back into the minus again. Interesting. This way you're getting a little flavor for Doc's work without with a visual explanation at the same time of how we're reading our math. There we are. Wow, what a herky-jerky universe that was, huh? Let's see, if I go like this, move that over to here, change the width of it down to 10. There we are. And let's put the weekly in there. Where's the word week? And that is W. And if anybody wants to see anything, just yell it out, traders. We will stop what we're doing and get into some. Oh, here you go. There's Subean's new old. We're up 70. I know. Isn't that wild? Since we got it open. Let me save this for Robin. Let's see. Save workspace. Save workspace as. Let's move that off the screen. There it is. Save. Yeah, there was a crop report out yesterday. Robin called me right after it. It was wild. Now let's save this and send it to Robin. Let's see, May. So let's go with, we're going to go right here and bring this down and make that July corn. Shift J U L Y. There it is, July corn. Save. Now let me just send this to him and we'll go take a look at beans. You want to look at beans? We can take a look at beans. Let's see. And compose. There we are. July corn. There we are. All right, now attach and send. All right, now let's go take a look at beans. Let's see, where's it at? In the window, right there. Anything denominated by dollars that have enormous volume are is basically are surrogates. They're surrogates for being a surrogate for being the currency itself. Hey, just send over.
What did you say about the currency?
That the anything that's largely denominated in dollar terms traded around the world is basically used as a surrogate for currency.
Like dollars.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what you were saying on the webinar?
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying it now because I'm live on it now.
Oh, I'm
Say hello, world.
sorry.
Bye. There we go. All right, so let's see what George says. George says there's the beans, isn't that something? That are bringing them down. You can see they're almost at unchanged now at the moment live. They took them up into the 1450 area on the that's the front month. Let's go take a look at November beans real quick because I'm curious now. You've got my attention. There's November beans, so that's new crop. Let's see what new crop. Now new crop is holding up. Let's give it a refresh. But it looks like new crop is holding up. Yeah. Whereas front month, right there, is starting to peel off, as they would say in the old days. Yeah, see, it's unchanged. Now, George says, silver finally moving up some. Yeah, really. We'll see. Let's go check out silver. I think that's where we were headed before all this. We were headed to the... where's it at? Right there. We were heading into the metals complex. So there's silver. Oop. And you can see you're right. There's some buying, but we're still in the weekly sell. You know, they just don't seem to be able to get much legs. And look how herky jerky it's been right here. The sell was cool. You know, in a winner chicken dinner. The buy was telling you to watch out. Don't be short much anymore. It was giving 2 days of volatility signal, telling you to stall, flatten out. Then it goes into a sell again, and then it gives you a loss there, and it's trying to get into the buy. And here it is. It's strength again today. So you can't be short and you can't be long. So unless you're trading the options, you can do it in options long because you're not going to get beat up. Because if you have an option spread on, you're not going to get stopped out. You already know what your risk factor is, and you can try to trade it, for a much more longer term situation. But if you're trading it with the hard delta, it's awful hard to be long in a weekly sell. You don't want to do that. You can get stopped out, and then 2 days later find yourself like, oh man, I could have made money there if I only had my stop fixed. That type of thing. So that's where we are with that. Now, let's see. Let's drift over to. Let's see. Where did we? What's this? Did we do crude? Yeah, we can do crude, but let's just jump back to it again. Where's crude at? There's crude. The work is showing us that they're trying to buy, and you can see the weekly had drifted underneath. Now it's trying to turn up. We came in a daily buy. You can see that's where it settled yesterday. So it's higher, and it is gaining in value. They did put a little spike down into the thing for a little bit there. And, we're 18 weeks in a weekly buy, as you can see on the fact check spreadsheet over here. See that right there? We'll just highlight it again. See it right there? That's where we are. So 18 weeks in a buy, and if flirting with the sell. We'll see. We'll see if there's any real action there. Let's see. George says, Doc, is oil surrogated in U.S. dollars to, let's see, West Texas Intermediate? That's what that is. It is West Texas Intermediate May. That's what it is. It's the May contract, which will expire like April 14th or 15th or something like that. Yeah, they for some reason they start to, it expires, the futures contract in May expires in April for delivery situation. So it's a really weird thing, one of the weirdest of all the futures contracts there. All right. Now let's, where do we go from here? Oh, and let's do this. Let's double check. We got, there's the, let me just go down and double check the July there. Okay, that's good. All right, so we're going to say okay. We're going to say save this again. Save space. Save workspace as, just to make sure we have it. Yes, and then we're going to close out the grains again unless someone asks for them. We'll close them out. And then see, now we were going through the metals complex, so let's take a look at gold. Right there. There's gold. Gold's holding up pretty well. Now gold, went into a buy here, but again, same situation like silver. Been in a weekly sell for weeks since basically the beginning of the year, since January. So, the pressure has been on that, and you can see it's trying to lift up here. This is much smoother, I have to say that. Compared to silver, gold is definitely much more smoother. Let's just double check which is the front month. Maybe we're looking at one of those intermediate months. I wonder if that's true, because I've noticed that silver does look sloppy. So let's find the silver contract and see who is the front month there. May. Yeah, so we're following the right one. It's just, I guess the silver has, just a lot more pressure on it. I guess that's what it comes down to. Because it is the front month. And, you would think that the product would be smoother. Look at silver. I find it just sloppy, with the dots. And I mean, the sell was cool here. And then you start getting this volatility stuff going on there. Let's just refresh it. But, I mean, it's just not as smooth as gold. You can see that. And then, and then you can see it goes into a sell here again. After trying to cover itself up in here. And, it's a win, but then it squeezes you. Puts you in there in a sell, and you get this action right here. So that's a loss right there. And now, it's climbing up. But, we're in a weekly sell, so you're not taking the long side of any of these trades here. Unless you're doing it through the derivatives, the option derivatives, binaries or options itself. All right, let's check out copper. There's copper. Let's give that a refresh. It's flirting with the sell, right? Yeah. Oh, no, now it's moving itself out of that at the moment. So when we did the charts this morning, it was there. And you can see here we're holding on to a daily buy, and it's all the way up in there, but we're in a weekly sell, so you can't take the long out of it. And it doesn't look like it's going to flip at the moment right there. And it was really sloppy action here. I mean, we went to a buy there. Okay, yeah, so it was a nice win, but, it's what a lot of, I guess, in many ways, let's see if we can widen this a little bit. A lot of sloppy action. Not a lot of conviction. I wonder, let's see what the front month is for copper. Maybe May is not it? I don't know, we'll double check. Let's see what it is. I'm going to double check. See what they're trading on the electronic trading floors nowadays when it comes to copper. And that's in the H's, high grade copper. And we'll see what's the front month there. Yeah, it looks like it's May there too. So it's just a sloppy action. Just not enough to make me happy. I like smoother action. I really don't. I mean, if you're a producer or something like that, I can understand you being involved in these products, and you are naturally involved in them if you're a producer. But if you're a trader, you really want to trade the most smoothest products you can find. And sometimes, some of these, just because they're popular doesn't make them smooth trading, like action like that. Copper. If you're a producer, you got no choice. You've got it in in the ground. You've got machinery. You're long it no matter how you cut it. It's just that it may not been produced totally yet, and so you've got to hedge that long. And I can see using the sloppy action. It's better than having no indication at all which direction to take. But I'm not a real big fan of trading products that get sloppy like that. I steer clear of them. I like the products that are smooth, like gold, which is kind of impressive. Gold is much smoother. See where the buys and the sells have distance between them. And so not to to get faked out with action like this because you're in a weekly sell. I mean, you can go after it with a dot like that if you're going to do the options, but you can't do the hard delta. You can't just go buy spot gold or futures contracts because you could get stopped out with good money management and then find yourself looking at it 2 days later higher just because Doc's Daily tried to get into a buy. Now in this case here, never even got in there. You see that right there. It just stayed down and kept on telling you don't trust this move on the upside, and sure enough, it went sliding down again. And then once you got the red dot there, you could jump into the sell. And so you couldn't get into a buy because the histogram didn't go plus, but you had the green dots telling you there was strength coming in. And that moved up pretty well too when you really look at it. It closed that day at the 1815 basically. We'll round the numbers out. And 3 days later it was trading at 1851. So I mean, that's a $35 move. And so I mean, it's very profitable, but I'm a big fan of smooth. I don't like choppy. And so, depending on the tool that you're using, if it's spot versus future versus option derivative, meaning binary or naked long calls, or call spreads, bull spreads, binary turns it into a bull spread, so you don't have to worry about that. It's basically that action. That's a lot safer. You know what you purchased it for. You're not going to get stopped out on the downside because you know what your risk is, and that's a real important factor when trading in general. Knowing what your risk is on the trading floor, we used to refer to it as the threshold of pain. What is your threshold of pain? And that is the key to it all. That really is, to understand what the threshold of pain is. I know it's a unique way of describing it, but that would be the knowing putting good money management into trading is important. You put the two together and you end up making money. You step away from the rules and you find yourself losing money, and that's always the way it has been. And so the key is to constantly stay focused and follow the rules, constantly follow the rules, and that's what we back test for. That's what we practice. That's why we do the work that we do every day. And when you step away from the rules, your P&L will reflect it. All right. Let's see. We just did the metals. Oh, you know what? Let's just take a look at platinum. And I'm going to throw spot gold up on the J4X because I want to see where the platinum spread is today. You can see there's gold trading at 1723 on the spot. And let's drift over to, not there, okay, let's go to there. And let's find the platinum. And there's platinum there, July platinum. And you can see, let's refresh that, trading at 1200 and change. You can see there, 1202. So, let's put it up on there. You see spot gold is still trying to calculate. And you can see right there. So we're at 1201 and change. It was just 1202. And we're looking at spot gold. Let's see, where's spot gold? Right there. 1723 and 1202. So that is 521 to 522 is the spread. I think yesterday we saw trading in the 5 single digits, right? 510 or 512 or right around there. And that's what we call the Janet Yellen spread. When she was Fed chair, They kept the platinum spread kind of tighter. And you've seen since she's been nominated, we started recommending to be short that spread at 1,000, and now it's sitting at 500. Okay, now let's see what else is going on here. Back at the currencies. Hey MGA, how you doing? We're all doing fine. It's going to be a nice 3-day weekend for some, maybe even a 4. Looking forward to that. Definitely looking forward to that. All right. Now, what else we got going on there? Let's take a look at any other particular currency pairs. Let's see Zolty this morning. Ooh, look at that. Went into the sell yesterday, and they're giving it a dive, but we're still in the weekly buy here. So as much as that looks dramatic, it's not that dramatic. But look how tight this product trades. It's a really good currency pair. It really is. Now there's a smooth product. You want to talk about consistency? It gets into the weekly buy here, and you're in a daily buy from like back here. What a smooth product this is. There's your buy. It goes into a sell, I guess right there. And we're going to change the color to that. Or is it the day before? It was the day before that. Right there. Goes into the sell there. And obviously you're not supposed to take that. Solely because we're in a weekly buy. And then there goes right back into the buy again right there. And sure enough, we get, what are we getting here? Remind me later. There we are. And right there you can see it goes back into the buy. And we're in a weekly buy, so you can take that long. Now there's smooth. I like smooth. I like consistent. What a nice liquid product this is. Yeah, I mean that's a perfect example of smooth. Well, we're glad about that, MGA, especially going into a 3-day weekend. Nice to know everybody's very sanguine, very relaxed and happy, and going to enjoy the holiday. And then you can see we go into a buy here again, and it's a very smooth move. And then we get into the sell there yesterday, and it's just a good solid product again. And that's what we're talking about: solid, smooth action. Let's see, I heard a ding. Where was that? There we go. Oh, cool. Nice. So, what else are we looking for here? Anybody have any other particular product they'd like to see? I believe we're doing a webinar tomorrow morning. So, we should be here. If not, then we will catch you next week. But we are hoping that we will be here. There we go. All right, now a perfect example right there. That is the perfect example of smooth. Something smooth that trades consistent. Let's jump over to, let's see, what have we not looked at yet today? Anybody see anything we have not looked at yet today? I'm trying to think. Let's go over to, we've done this. Oh, I know. Let's go check out Bitcoin. And then we'll go from there to the stock indices. So, let's see, which one is it? Right there. Bitcoin was in the daily sell for the last 2 days. Let's see where it is at now. There's the Bitcoin. That's April. Kind of trapped there, a little firm. Let's give it a refresh. Reload. And it is on the edge of a weekly sell, too, at the same time, as you can see right there. It's Z'd. So it's minus 85 on plot 1. So it's having issues there. We don't have any time manifold on that. But we'll find out what's going on there. Now, let's take a look at the... Let's see, what else is there? Cool. Let's take a look at the stock indices. So there's the NASDAQ. NASDAQ's at the highs of the day. That is not the highs of all time. There's your high of all time back in February. So they've been really correcting in this product. Very interest sensitive those stocks are. Now S&P 500, on the other hand, is flirting with all-time highs right there. And at the same time, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is being a little sloppy. You can see that right there. We're going to give it a refresh. But you can see there it's minus. And you can see it's trying to, right now it looks like it's trying to take itself back out of that. We're in a weekly buy, so this has been the most consistent of them all. And at the same time, we are just literally cat whiskers away from a all-time high there too. So stop. So the action in it is really impressive. And that's what the stock indices are doing. They're showing lots of strength. Now let's take a look at the Russell 2000, which is like the most speculative of all the stock of the 4 stock indices. And right there. And you can see there's the all-time high right there. See right there about at the middle of March. And you can see it's trying to turn up. We went into a daily buy, I guess, right there. So we can throw that line in there, like so. Whoop. And it's battling, that's for sure. Let's give it a refresh again. Problem is that it's trying to go into a weekly sell today. That is pretty traumatic right there. That is, you can see where we use a gas line 3.5 on this. Because of its beta, and you can see here, it went into a weekly buy here, and then jumped right into the weekly daily sell, so you couldn't be long, and then they sold it down, and then you can see at the same time the 3 out of the 3.5 went minus. Now normally if it was just a gas line 3, that would have been a weekly sell and you could have been short, but it was giving you some like warning that, well, this is a short-lived sell-off, and that's what that's telling you. So you're not supposed to get too aggressive with this because we're in a weekly buy still. This is all weekly buy, and that's what happens with the beta. We have to adjust it with the supers, and then you can see here this week it's trying to throw itself into the sell, and what does it do? It goes into the buy. See, traders, what we really believe and what we try to live by every day is it's better to have no position than to lose money. That's the way we figure it. So in other words, you can be long, you can be short, you can be neutral. And what this is trying to tell us is you got to be neutral. Now let's say you're a fund and you're invested in these products. Well, you don't have much of a choice. Just because it's gone into the one plot has gone into a minus, you have to start hedging yourself. And you see the daily sell and you go, okay, this is matching up. I need to be hedged. So you can sell calls and buy some puts, put some collars on and some of the products, and you don't have a choice. And so the charts reflect you can do speculation out of it and at the same time hedge. So in other words, if you're a fund or a producer, it will give you the insight, because some of us are forced into positions. We're in positions. Okay, in other words, might be funds, and so you have position on. So you're looking for any little tick to not lose money on, and that's why you see like a gas line 5 super because of the beta, and so we need to make it easier for people who are in it. Now, if you're a speculator, and you're going to do options, that's fine. You can get short because you know what your limited risk is. But if you're, just going short, you don't know if this thing's going to pop back up. I mean, you can see it here. It goes into the weekly sell, and it does. It falls apart, and the next thing you know, it runs all the way back up to here before giving you a warning. Now, that helps you get protected, but look at that action right there. You really don't want to be short in a move like that. And if you're in this case here, a fund, at least you have the heads up. The math is telling you what's going on. Now, there's, we have people who are new traders here watching this. We have people who have been trading for a long time. You have intermediates in between. You have producers. We don't know who's watching this. And we're trying to give you a picture of the whole Megillah, trying to give you an idea of the whole trading system in general. And so that's what this does. And that's why, you go, well, why don't you just run a gas line 3 on it? Well, because there are people out there that have positions on, and they need to know every little twitch. And, it'd be great, sure. You go into a weekly buy here just running the gas line 3, but the beta doesn't represent it well. And so here you're in a daily sell, and now you're trapped in, some type of situation there. And you're like, wow, I should be long. And it's like, no, you can't be long because it's in a daily sell still. Then you go here, and okay, now you can be long. And it joins in, and, you catch on for a couple pips there, and next thing you know, it's breaking down again. And so it's the volatility or the beta relative to the rest of the different sectors. So that's how we measure that and why we use gas line 3 here, which is sensitive enough to deal with this. And on a bigger scale, gas line 3.5, which is 2 gas lines. We're running the gas line 3 and a gas line 5. That's why we call them supers, because they're scaled correctly together. All right, traders, that is where we're at. Everybody have a safe and smart long weekend. If we don't see you tomorrow, I expect to be here tomorrow, but we'll see. So this is Doc from North America, Arrivederci, and everybody have a safe and smart 3-dayer, as I said. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our cyber trading friends. Ta-ta for now.